What I'm struggling with standing here this morning, I've not struggled with in about 6 years. This is one of the first times in a very, very long time I have stood in the pulpit to preach, and there are so many things to say, I honestly don't know where to start. That's serious. I was up, didn't go to bed. I was in the bed, but didn't fall asleep early. Got up early this morning. Even while we were singing, I said, Lord, where do you want me to go? What avenue do I take? Because there's a simple principle we must understand if this love thing is not a talk. Simple stuff we have to understand. And I want to give the title a message. You watching me? This is the first non-verbal title message. I've never done this before. But this is the title of the message. You get it? The title of the message is, so when I put it past the preacher on this morning, just do this. Alright? Just as much as I'm going to say this morning. I want to play a song for you this morning. And listen to me. But before we go to the song, let me ask you something. If I say to you, Jesus, associate something with the word. Okay, what? Saves. Jesus, what do we associate with the word? What? Love. What else? Jesus. What is that? Miracle. Jesus. Sacrifice. What else? Lion of Judah. What?
Redeemer.
What?
Redeemer.
Jesus. Daddy. Shepherd. Good. Jesus. Salvation. Jesus. What? King. King. All right. Healer. Jesus. Deliverer. What else? All sufficient. Miracle worker. Jesus. Mighty warrior. How about this one? Jesus, creator. You can live with that? Jesus transforms by word. Jesus, the one who, when he speaks, things that here change. You can agree with those things? Let's listen to the song. I really want you to focus on the song. Then I have to make some points. Bring the lights down for me. Turn it up a little.
Ones who force the world to lift their name. There are rulers whose tyranny and violence spread their fame.
is heavy. I don't understand how we could recognize a Jesus like that, acknowledge the authority and the power of Jesus, and then we let a human voice stop us from obeying the precious Jesus. I can't understand how we sing and promote the power of Jesus. We talk about this marvelous Jesus. And then when Jesus spoke, the world came into existence. When Jesus spoke to the deaf, hearing came into being. When Jesus spoke to the dead came to life. When Jesus spoke to the wind stood still. When Jesus spoke to the water settled down. When Jesus spoke to a set of jugs filled with water, they became wine. When Jesus spoke to the grave where Lazarus was, Lazarus came out of the grave. When Jesus said to the thief standing next to him, "Today thou shalt be with me in paradise," those things took place. And I'm taking this in the context of what we call this Koinonia, this love. I cannot fathom how we could sit in intentional disobedience to the powerful Savior because someone offended me. How do we sit in opposition to what the powerful Jesus says because we don't like what someone did? When this voice controls us more than this voice, we've lost fellowship with this voice. And too many of us live by these voices, ignoring this voice. Some of you are dating people you should not be dating, but you're listening to this voice, but you're promoting this Jesus. Some of you have not released offenses because you are listening to your voice this way, ignoring the voice this way. The only voice that ignores this voice is a dead heart. It is a blind mind. It is a blind person. Anyone who has fellowship this way has ears to hear. Anyone who has fellowship this way has the ability to overcome an offense so that there would be no disobedience this way. I am so burdened by the fact that we let a human being who is frail just like us cause us to ignore the great Jesus who speaks life into our being. Something is wrong with that. How do I not fellowship with people because I don't like what someone else did when Jesus said, keep going? How do I do that? How do I not minister because I don't like what decisions were made, so I don't hear this voice? How do I do that? See, we promote a Jesus who is powerful when it agrees this way. We don't promote a Jesus who is all-powerful, so this way must line up. We are in an era where we are lining Jesus up with this voice. And we are justifying our behavior here because we have become tone deaf to the Jesus here. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. When you look at the words of the song, I mean, oh man, that's, Jesus. And I'm thinking, Father, how is it that we don't recognize the Bible says the demons tremble. They tremble. And Jesus walked into one of the cities where the demons were possessing a person. You know what they asked Jesus? How come you're learning? You're here before your time. You know what the demons recognize it? If this guy's speaking, but you have to obey. And I find it amazing how we have not come to grips with the fact that when, you know what maturity, spiritual maturing is? It isn't that we sing louder, pray longer. It is that we are more conforming to this voice, even when these voices aren't right. It is when we won't allow this relationship direction to interfere with my loyalty in this direction. Very, very simple. In order for the genuine love of God to be able to be manifested this way, it doesn't begin here, it begins here. And you know why a lot of you have struggles with some people that you refuse to speak to, and some people you don't want to sit next to, and some people you don't want to fellowship with? Let me just come downright clean. Your relationship this way is fault. Don't anybody fool. I use myself as an example. I've said this to you before. I have had enough maltreatment in the 33 years of leading that I should have been gone long time. I should have been gone. You know what keeps me faithful and consistent? One day, I'm not going to stand before you. One day. Matter of fact, not just one day, now. I live for God's approval. And you know, we looked at the clipping there where Jesus was being beaten. And we're moved by that. And I believe that's a moving scene. And a moving reality. But you know the problem that is? That is an instantaneous movement that is instantaneously lost. You get what I'm saying? We see that, but that kind of reality is an all-day, everyday, transforming reality. See, we watch those things and we get emotional. But we don't get emotional because we are erupted from the inside. We get emotional because we are erupted from the surface. Because when I see that, you know what I say to myself? Remember to make a sacrifice for Jesus' sake today. That's what I see. We read these things, we talk about these things, and yet we stand in opposition to the voice that's speaking to us this way. It can't work. It doesn't work that way. And I believe in all my heart we have what we call a humanistic Jesus Christianity today. Where we have centered what Jesus said around what I like and what I want and what pleases me. And if it doesn't satisfy me and it doesn't require much of a sacrifice, buddy, I'm prepared to do it. But if it requires a sacrifice, no, that's not what Jesus meant. No, that's not what it's all about. Oh, that's old-fashioned. And some of us in the room are guilty this morning. You are guilty in that you are allowing the human direction of this horizontal relationship to prevent you from obeying this one. Let me give you a simple fact that I hope would sink in somewhere down the line. Listen to me carefully, and understand what I'm saying. No human being could bless you. Only God could bless you through human beings. Now, most of you say, but I don't believe that. No human being could bless you. But God blesses us through human beings. So then who is the blesser? Who is the blessee? Us. What's the channel? As God sees fit. So then who should we be living to please? The blesser. And often in our living to please the channel, we lose contact with the blesser. Let me put it to you this way. Until we rock the heart of God, He would not move the hand of man in your favor. Amen. You heard what I just said? When you live to where this is what you're trying to rock, He who controls the raven will determine whose hand He moves. We need to live with that. We have to be convinced that this is who speaks and things move. Not this. And when this says no, this says yes. When Jonah said, No. He took off running. God said yes. Jonah did his own thing. And let me show you how we live like Jonah. Some of us are quite prepared to live in disobedience to God in this so-called relationship with our believers and be just like Jonah. Jonah was quite contented, buddy. God, I ain't going there. You can do whatever, I'm not going there. What you don't like about Jonah? Jonah knew why the ship was in trouble. You know what's wrong with some of us in the room this morning? You don't realize you are why the ship is in trouble. Sometimes I am the reason why the ship is in trouble. Because we are prepared to dig our heels in and just tolerate all of the wills that come our way. But we just prepared, we are not obeying this voice. So Jonah went about his business. And if you've read in the book of Jonah, there's a little Hebrew word that's used translated in English called prepared. God prepared a fish. He prepared a board. He prepared the vine. And I'm here to tell you, you better be careful, because you cannot ignore this for long without something being prepared to get your attention. How truly powerful is Jesus? Am I making sense to you this morning? See, for Koinonia to take place, I have to still be able to, and see, Koinonia don't begin with man. This is what we have to keep getting ahead. So watch this. I don't have to like you to practice Koinonia. You get what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I don't even need to know you. I just have to be in a position to extend the hand of God to you. I don't need to know you. I don't do that. But you know what? Let me show you how come I know that to be true. Watch this. Anyone familiar with this? I've heard this one before. Be careful how you entertain strangers. Isn't it interesting? Be careful how you entertain strangers. Because you might be entertaining an angel unawares, which tells us what? That they ain't look like no being, no flap, no hero over there. They're human beings. Let me rephrase that. They're not human beings. In our realm, they appear as human beings. Let me rephrase that. So right there, that's what we don't need to know anyone. We don't need to know anybody. You know what I find too with the Christians, right? We will pray and say, Lord, I don't know anybody in this room, but give me a heart to reach out to someone. Anyone ever prayed that prayer? Yeah. But watch this. We would never pray the prayer for people we know we have issues with. What are you praying for? You need to reach out. We need to reach out. Because we've already been told to reach out. See, I just find it disturbingly amazing how we are quite contented to disobey God to satisfy this direction. I just find it amazing. I find it super amazing that we are quite prepared to turn when somebody walks around the corner to satisfy this with no regard for dissatisfying this. And you know something in the skit this morning, the little girl said to Mommy, but isn't it true? Let me help you with something. Only mature people keep their mouth shut, even though it's true. We were in Abaco last week, sitting at a dinner table. Someone walked in that I was familiar with, but I didn't really know like that. And the individual sat to the table and started to talk about some history. And I sat there. And I made up my mind, I'm not getting in this conversation. This conversation has no benefit to now or yesterday, and it surely has no benefit for tomorrow. And so I literally sat there and said nothing. Because something is true doesn't mean you must echo it. You only echo what's necessary for human growth, what's profitable. Most of you don't like that statement. You figure because it's true, I should say it. No. There's some things that you would ask me that's true, but you're not going to get any comments out of it. Because the truth of what you're asking me has no bearing on you. So you don't need to know that. Now, am I aware of it? Yes, I am. What you think? Not an opinion I want to share this time. Buddy, that takes the Spirit of God in you, because we have all of itching ears and itching mouth. But you know what I look at? My job is to protect the believer. That's my job. While I'm helping the believer who in the gutter, my job is to protect that believer. My job is to expose the believer unnecessarily. So even though something might be true, why do I need to share it with you? Just because it's true? Even if you're my buddy. I know stuff I know Stacey don't know. She doesn't need to know. There's stuff that, because I'm protecting the believer. There's some things you don't know that I know. There's some things the elders don't know that I know yet, that I haven't told them yet. I said I'm dealing with a man and I'll bring you up to date when it is necessary. That's maturity, my friend. You have to get past itching ears and itching tongue. And to get past itching ears and itching tongue, you have to learn that my job is to preserve the body. That's why I don't discuss church people with unsaved people. I tell them, that's maybe true, but I don't need to be talking about that. That's my family member. And even if what you're saying is true, but you're an outsider. Why are you getting this? Let me show you how that practice. You believe you can go to one large brother and talk to the next large brother who isn't, you believe you can do that? So tell me how come these people who have no Spirit of God in them have a principle that they practice, and we who have the Spirit of God in us don't understand the value of that same principle. Why? So that's why I try to, what I want to show you here is, even in the human realm, we can practice some God things, but it has to be eternal value. So when we have the Spirit of God in us, we now have eternal values based on these practices that we could do. A friend of mine was telling me the other day, many years ago, he was out at an event, and the police came and arrested him. And he was embarrassed because he had paid for the event, sponsored the event, and here the police officers came, fought them, picked him up and took him away. Spent the night in the cell. And then when he came out of the cell, he asked to see the senior guy. The senior guy said, "What's the deal?" He said, "I was arrested. This was scenario, yada, yada, yada." He said, "Do you know the officer?" He said, "No, but I could describe him to you." So he described the officer to him. He said, "Oh, that's Officer so-and-so." So he went to see the officer. He said, "Officer so-and-so." He was a sergeant. He said, "Are you a lodge member?" That's what he asked him. He said, "No." He said, "Well, between now and 2 days, you better become a lodge member." He said, "Because you would never get a promotion on the police force once I finish my conversation." He said, for this, that he went to see some high-ranking lodge person, identified himself as who he was. I mean, whatever they do. And he called this guy's name, the officer who unjustifiably arrested him in public. That person who he went to picked up the phone and called whomever. And the guy ended up being demoted over the course of 3 or 4 years. Demoted. And I'm saying to myself, he's telling me a story. I said, "Oh Lord Jesus, if we only live the opposite of that, we're in the kingdom." But that's a serious connection. I'll tell you one more story about the Lord to show you how these are human things. I had a friend of mine who had a brother who used to carry a shotgun in Nassau on his dashboard. You know that's illegal. You cannot carry a gun showing like that unless the laws change and I'm not aware of it. So one day I said to the man, "You're not afraid of that?" He said, "Afraid of that?" He said, "Well, look here, I could never go to jail." I said, "Well, that's supposed to mean?" He said, "I'd never go to jail." He said, "If I killed someone, I wouldn't go to jail." So I just kind of figured, well, I need to know this guy. So my friend said, "Well, tell him why." He said, "Buddy, I saw in the lodge. Once I get in court and I flash, that judge is obligated to find a reason to show my case out." Now, some of you may be large members, so I figure I share your secrets. But I do have my security team. So you'll have to pick me off on the street. You know what I admire with those types of fraternities? As a matter of fact, you've been watching the news in the US, they're now trying to ban fraternities off college campuses. You know how many people lied, including presidents and board members, and to cover the death of a young boy or young girl in a fraternity because you can't spill the beans? And I'm thinking, oh Lord God of mercy, we need that kind of mindset within us. Fraternity, not fraternity, but the love of God. So, my challenge this morning is this. Which voice is controlling you? Is it your voice that says, I'm not doing because I don't like? Yet, what you don't like or not prepared to do is a disobedience to the voice of the great master this way? Which voice? Which voice moves you? Which name moves you? Let me give you another real reality example. If you have an issue with someone and their name is called, your whole body responds. True or false, right or wrong? Your whole body responds. Your blood pressure increases, your heart rate increases. Depending on how your body is, you start to sweat. You become edgy. You become disturbed because what's going on in your mind? What's going on? Not even before that. Why do you become disturbed? Because you're replaying the hurt, the offense, whatever it is. Now let me ask you a question, and all of us have to be honest in this question. Has an event that was hurtful, or does an event that is hurtful have a greater impact on you than the name Jesus? Wow. Now if we're honest this morning, which one has the greater impact? For most people, the event. We're in trouble. We're in trouble when the great name of the great Jesus is not as impacting on our daily being as the name of a fellow human being who might have done something we don't like, or didn't do something we didn't like, or you thought didn't go the way you thought it should go. And yet that name that can't even cause a demon to tremble has all the impact on you to where it would cause you to disobey the name of the person, Jesus. People, we have to really repent in our hearts this morning, because we are guilty of allowing this action to interfere with our obedience this way. I want to take you to a text, and I'll close with this text. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 5. Very interesting wording that's used here in the text. Rather interesting text in general. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 5. I want to begin reading at verse 1. It says, for every high priest, now I need you to picture the wording now. It says, for every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in the things pertaining to God. You can understand that? It's clear, straightforward. Priests are chosen of human beings to deal with the things with human beings on behalf of God. He said that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sin, of course referring to the Levitical system. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with inheritance. So what does it say? And that caused him to be what? Sympathetic and compassionate. He says, and by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself to offer for sins. Again, talking about the priest. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of God, as was Aaron. You following that? Yeah, so this, to do that kind of stuff, boy, God have to put the Spirit in you. So also, so what are we doing here? Making a It's a comparison. So also Christ glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today I have begotten thee. As he said also in another place, Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Now, who learned obedience by the things they suffered? Who? Christ. Stay with me now. Stay with me. The Bible says, for Christ thought it wrong to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took on the form of, became in the likeness of man, and took on the form of a servant, and came in the likeness of man. Now, stay with me. The Lord Jesus learned obedience based on what? The things he suffered, the things he encountered. Now, were the things he encountered pleasant or unpleasant? Now, what you would not know is that word suffered basically has the meaning of dreadful, bad, passionate, destructive, so on and so forth. I need you to hang with me to get the gist of this show. The negative things that Jesus experienced taught him to still obey, even though the environment was not what it was supposed to be. You get it? You get it? So what does that tell you when you're offended? What's happening? What does God want from that? To whom? But when we have issues, what do we normally do? Thank you. You see? For today's Christian disobeys by the things that happen to him or her that he or she don't like. So, this is how I live this. When something happens that I don't like, my first question is, am I willing to obey God in this unpleasant situation? Or I'm going to please Cedric Beckles and do what Cedric Beckles wants to do, regardless of what God says. And this is what a lot of us say. I know what God says, but I know what he says, but you don't understand. I find it amazing that the only time someone else don't understand you is when you want to do what you want to do. But every other time, somebody could understand you. That's amazing, isn't that? Isn't it? We are the greatest deceptors of ourselves that we've ever seen. We deceive ourselves. The heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can know it? You know what I'm saying to you? Get off your ungodly, unholy horse and learn to be obedient to God when someone doesn't treat you right. Cut the talk, cut the nasty attitude, cut the negative behavior, because it's for your growth, not that person's growth. And let me tell you, if you don't want to grow spiritually, you need now to move to the top of a mountain by yourself and don't take a mirror. Because your husband, wife, children, parents are going to irritate you to the core. And why God put us in a grouping is so that we could rub shoulder to rub off what needs to be rubbed off. And I am just annoyed, overly annoyed at the garbage that some of you are hung upon and not growing in Jesus. Man, this Jesus thing is too precious to me to let you stop me from moving the heart of God who can move the hand of man. This is too precious. I told my group, give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Someone walk past you, don't speak, think of several things. Maybe on medication this morning. No, I'm serious. We're too quick to think evil of people. We're too quick. The Bible says, love thinketh no evil. I know if I walk past you in the morning, you could mark it down. Boy, his head going 1,000 miles a minute. But I don't get that. You know what I get? Pastor, you speak to me. But by George. How do you conclude that? You should be coming after me to find out, are you okay? You don't think that makes sense, Brother Shiloh? Boy, he tuned out. Something wrong. you okay this morning? You need me to pray for you? No, but we don't do that. By the time that conversation finished, you don't speak to that lady. It's not friendly. And I'm thinking, Lord Jesus. You could think the person is just distracted. And you don't know, when you walk, when you meet a person, you don't know what they just left home. They could have gotten up and they could have seen the back door, Jimmy, someone trying to get in. That's frightening. They could have left home, got a telephone call. Your auntie was just admitted to the hospital. But the auntie's like my mommy. You could leave home. Matter of fact, you could have knocked a dog down. I mean, that's not a human being, but that's disturbing. There's so many things, and yet but if that was the Lord's brother, you know what you got. That Lord's brother wasn't going to do that. But the Christian, shall they eat you alive? They will eat you alive. And I'm here to tell you, this is what has to stop. So that the love of God can flow through us. Let me tell you, I don't care how hard you try, you can't manufacture love to people who don't look good to you. That's a God thing. That's why Jesus said to the Pharisees, listen to me. The Pharisees, hear me out. You all are like the Pharisees. Because you only could respond right when people respond right to you. He said to his disciples, but I'm now telling you, you could respond well to your enemy. You know why? Because you have in you what the Pharisees don't have in them. They don't have God in them. They don't have the Holy Spirit in them. I'm with you now, and when I leave, I'm going to send the comforter back to you, so that when hurt comes your way, you use it as a hurdle, not as a hangout to be in. You use it as a stepping stone to get over it, because I don't want you to be like the Pharisees, who could only return good when good is returned to them. That's what it takes for a church to be healthy. That's what it takes for believers to be considerate of one another. That's what it takes. But my bottom line is this. Are you annoyed this way to where it stops you from obeying this way? If the answer is yes, you need to remember a simple thing Jesus said. You need to get your act together. Take that cement lamp hole out of your eye and leave the speck of dust alone that's in the other person's eye. And watch this. Even if a lamp hole in the other person's eye, your lamp hole taking up all your vision, all you can see is a speck. And that's a simple teaching we don't practice. I am not responsible for the sand in your eye if there's a beam in my eye from your sand. I have to take care of my beam. And a lot of us spend all of our God time on other people's time. And you and I this morning to make up our minds, I am going to honor my Jesus. If you don't speak to me, I'm going to speak to you. Right, Shanila? I said you don't speak to me. What if she don't answer? Boy, she better break up front because every time I see her, hi, Shanila. Hi, Shanila. You know what you hear that? Oh, he's so irritating. Hi, Shanila. Well, if you want me to stop, just say, did you think so easy of this? Oh, people, I am literally burdened. Not burdened by what's missing, you know. I'm burdened by what's present. You get it? Yes. What's present is poison. And what's present this morning is the I God. What's present this morning is the me God. What's present this morning is I feeling. It's I feelianity. You need to spell that wrong. I feelianity. I need to write that down. Let me write this down. I feelianity. This is how I spell it. I-F-E-E-L-I-E-A-N-T-Y. Put an N there. I-F-E-E-L-L. No, not feeling. Oh, okay, all right. I feelianity. I can tell you all my heart. That's what's going in the room this morning. I feelianity. Not Christianity. Because see, when Christianity rules, Christ's laws rule. When I filiality rule, I rule. And I don't care about what Christianity says, because I filiality. We need to present that word. We need to write to Webster. That's speaking in the word. Because if they can put graffiti and all them other things that are ungrammatically correct, I'm sure that they don't even know they even have syllables. I filiality, that's not the word. I can get that posted somewhere. In the box that God this can get posted. Even if I have to contact an English specialist and tell him that, look, I'm not looking for it to be grammatically correct. I just want it to spell like it sounds. People listen to me. We need the blessing of God. Disobedience never invites the blessing of God. I don't mind how you justify it. I don't mind. And mind you, I'm not overlooking that some people are wrong in their behavior. That's not the point I'm looking at this morning. What I'm looking at is this. And I always tell my children this. The only person you could master is you. You can't master someone else. And some people are not going to do right. I don't care what happens. Are you then going to determine that you're not going to do right because somebody else isn't going to do right? No. No. Filiality or Christianity is one. Am I not honoring the simple commands to respond to each other appropriately because I don't like? Speaking to myself now, Cedric Beckles was always been prepared and still is this morning to be the change he wants to see. And if you don't change with me, that's crime and order, because the record keeper is this way. The record keeper that matters. These record keepers, their ink is faded. This record keeper, it's my life.